Asher and Penman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
I was out there searching for a home, 'cause I know all I am will come and go. You found me drifting alone at sea. You said a lovely secret was inside of me. Heartbreak was bitter.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm very happy about our next guest, who we talked to her in another interview because she's performing at the South Florida Fair with a tribute to the Cranberries, but she's also performing at the fair with her band that is really, really good called Indigo Dreamers. So let's welcome to the show, Jamie. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. And okay, so you're playing at the fair tomorrow at 12:30. Tomorrow, Wednesday at all right. That's
12:30
beautiful.
on the community stage. Yep.
Nice. So how long, because I know you've been doing this a while, how long have you been providing us music and entertainment in South Florida?
Gosh. It's probably been like 10 or 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many times have you played this at the South Florida Fair?
This will be, I think, our third time.
Nice.
Yeah, third time. Mm-hmm.
So as an artist, how would you describe it performing at the South Florida Fair?
We love playing at the South Florida Fair. It's a great stage. It's a great audience. People are just eager for the live music. And the last two times we played, we had the same sound guys, and they were awesome, just really nice guys. And it's always a good thing when you like the sound guys.
Oh yeah, that's really important. I don't think people realize how important it is to sound people, because they can make or break you.
Yes, because it's not only what you guys are hearing, but it's what we're hearing, and we're having to adjust based on that, and we want to give the best performance we can, as long as we can hear ourselves in the way that we need to. So yeah, they're fantastic, really nice bunch of people. So we're very excited to be back.
And that's great to hear, because I know many times artists, to your point, that can't hear while they're performing, and nobody knows that they can't hear.
Yeah, and you kind of just got to fake it and just keep going and keep the energy up. But you're like, oh my gosh, like this is terrible. And I hope I'm singing in key or, whatever. So
100%. And explain how that is, because I guess somebody who's never sang before or performed before, played an instrument before, they just think, oh, you're just standing there playing, you're hearing what we hear.
Yeah, no. So we have stage monitors, which is a separate set of speakers that are just for the people on the stage, and they actually could be mixed in a different way than what you hear out, in the audience. And also like the way that the sound reverberates. I mean, this is an outside venue, so it's a little bit different, but every room that you play in is going to sound different, and you got to take all that into consideration when you're doing the mix. So a good live sound engineer is much appreciated by the artist.
Yeah, and you rely on that sound engineer, because like there's nothing you can do when it's happening. They have to fix it.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you watch, sometimes you'll watch people on YouTube or performing live, and you'll see they'll be like, my mic, like turn it up, or whatever instrument you're playing. They're like, I can't hear, and they're kind of signaling to the sound guy, like, can you fix it? Help. Especially when you watch, like live TV streams or something like that, Yeah. Those are hard.
Totally. So tell us a little bit about your music from your point of view. I mean, you have an amazing voice.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that's definitely highlighted in your performances.
Yeah. So we're going to be playing as a duo. My husband and I, he plays bass and I play guitar and I sing, and he also sings. He sings harmonies, and yeah, so we basically play a lot of, we have our own original material. We have an album on Spotify. We have a bunch of singles. So we play those songs. Plus we play covers, and we really try to make those our own. We a lot of times we're playing songs that have like a full arrangement. So we kind of break that down to our setting, which would be bass and guitar and vocals. And yeah, we really kind of craft our arrangements, and I guess if I was looking to describe it, sort of like soulful and pop.
That's a good description, actually.
Yeah, people are like, what kind of genre? Because we're kind of all over the place. We play a lot of different covers from different genres and from different decades and everything. But I think soulful pop kind of is the genre that ties it all together.
And it's so difficult nowadays because giant genres to me are almost ridiculous now. It's like one band could fit in each genre the way they have it so micro
Yes.
organized.
Yes, but it's funny because like we don't, like as an artist sometimes you don't really think about the genre, but then when you go to upload your music or share your music on a platform, they make you specify the genre, and then a lot of times you're in between genres, or like you said, you could technically categorize it in any genre, so it's hard.
It is. So besides the Cranberries, what other covers do you really love playing?
Gosh. Well, I mean, I would say I love playing our own, original music. That's probably my favorite thing to play. But
I should
other
hope so.
covers, I really like Wicked Games by Chris Isaac. We do a cover of Cher, Believe, which is always a fun one to do. Yeah, but we do a lot of different stuff.
And so, curious question: what did you find did your husband and you find each other because you were into music, or did you get together and find out you were into music and then start doing this?
Well, actually, probably the music came first because we were both studying music at Florida Atlantic University, and we actually didn't really talk to each other for the first like 3 years, and then like the fourth year, we started talking. We had a lot of the same classes together, and we collaborated on some projects, and then and we became really good friends. And then we graduated, and he was like, "Hey, why don't we learn some songs that we can play out? And you have some of your own original material." And then I had a bunch of original material that I wanted to make into an album. So he was like, I was like, "Hey, can you help me produce it and make this available for people to listen to?" So we collaborated on that and learning the cover songs. And then I just kind of was like, this is such a collaborative effort. Let's just have a band name and just kind of move forward as that. And that's how Indigo Dreamers was born.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
And so, what can we expect from tomorrow's performance?
I would say a lot of heartfelt arrangements, and just good songs that maybe you're hearing in a different way. We're kind of like, putting a different bow on it, if you will. And you're going to hear some of our original material as well.
And so, the original material, how would you say it's evolved over the years? I think a big part with artists is you grow older and sometimes your attitude towards things change or life changes. And, it's kind of like what you would write when you're a teenager is not what you would necessarily write in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. I would say like in the beginning, I wrote a lot of the material, kind of like love songs or heartbreak songs because I was like a young 20-year-old. And like I said, I think it was more me focused. It was kind of more from my perspective. But I think as we started collaborating more, and then he started kind of coming into the music, and now we're working on original material, and it's like the content of the lyrics is different. It's not as much about like love and heartbreak. It's, I think, a different perspective. Like you're saying, it's a more mature perspective on life, and also you're hearing more of his musical influence, I think. So the new album, we're actually kind of on the fence. Like we're like, should we release it as Indigo Dreamers? Because we do feel like it's different. But at the same time, I think what you just said, like bands evolve and they change over time, and I think maybe that's just the next step in our evolution. Even though it's a little bit different, it's a little bit maybe more moody or edgier than maybe the first album was.
I think that is even more typical today than it used to be. You know, you take certain bands that like almost change completely. I know of bands that are like big bands and they change every album. You know,
Yeah.
it's like so and I think it's experiences and how you feel and you know, music's very emotional. So, you know,
Absolutely.
when you're writing the music, what emotions are you feeling at that time?
Yes, and it's the thing that's so beautiful about music and even like my voice. I feel like as I grow as a person, so does the art and so does my voice and yeah, just you get a new perspective and more depth to the music, which is great.
So do you feel too collaborating, whether it's your husband or anybody else, that because you have those different perspectives, that it kind of because you're getting, you know, other people's perspectives, maybe it makes you change your perspective a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, like I said, the first album, I kind of wrote a lot of those songs like by myself in my bedroom, still like living at home with my parents, and then I met him, and I feel like he opened up a whole new, perspective to me, and now we're like married, we have a baby, and now we're like it's like a completely different perspective, and I feel like yeah, we've just matured, we've learned so much about each other, about the world, and I think that's certainly reflected in the music, and it has to be, and that's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
our outlet to expressing, and kind of it's like our diary, if you will, in a way, um
Well, that's
of
why you do
chronicles of our
evolve
life.
because it is a journal or a diary, and like, you know, what you would write now is not what you would write when you're 20 in your diary or your journal either.
Exactly.
And I think
Yeah.
it's good to see other people's perspectives because, you know, I think that's the I think that's the definition of maturing. It
Yeah.
is basically being able to see other people's perspectives and actually intertwine it into your own.
Yes, and that's how you grow and become the person that you are, and there's just so much to learn, and everybody has their own, wealth of information and experiences, and it's such a beautiful thing.
Yes, and that's the beauty of music.
Yes.
Because we're living in a time where people aren't supposed to have different opinions or what have you, or experiences or variables. And that's what I love about escaping into music because that's where it's okay and it's normal. And I think it should be okay and normal everywhere. You know,
I
it's
agree.
funny because we all have different life experiences or geographic places we've been, people we've met, things we've done. So of
Yeah.
course we're not all going to have the same opinion.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
good to
think
have
that's
different opinions because then it challenges yours, and maybe you feel like, oh wait, yeah, maybe I was wrong actually, and you learn something.
yep, exactly. I think you know, I've had that experience before where I've had conversations with people that were could have easily been my enemy. But then by talking to each other, you kind of get the perspective and you can understand the other person's point of view.
Exactly, and like where they're coming from and how they even formed that idea to begin with. So, yeah.
Totally. So tell everybody how they can reach out to you guys on socials, on the web, and find out where else you'll be playing after the South Florida Fair because you play all over South Florida. So that's cool. And anything else you want to let them know if you have any merch or anything like that.
Yeah, so if you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or any social media platform, it's Indigo Dreamers Band. We have a website, indigodreamers.com, and we have merch on there as well. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, any place you stream music. And yeah, we play all over the South Florida area. If you want to go on our website, we have a list of our shows. We play, like, for instance, like at Aloft in Delray Beach every other Thursday. We're at ER Bradley's in West Palm every other Wednesday. We play at the Kravis sometimes for their pre-show entertainment. So we're all over the place. So come and check us out. That would be great. And follow us online.
I love it. And I can't wait. And everybody that's listening, they have to get over to South Florida Fair tomorrow on the 29th at 12:30 to check out your set on the community stage. And, you know, thanks for once again being at the South Florida Fair, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipe Man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and look forward to meeting you at the South Florida Fair.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipe Man on W4CY Radio.